SOS signals launched, humanity answered, and the galaxy stopped a HFY Sci-Fi Story outline in 5 parts. Part 1. The distress call setting, the year 2287. Humanity has achieved faster-than-light travel but remains isolated in their corner of the galaxy, largely ignored by the wider galactic community. Opening scene. The Terran Deep Space Monitoring Station orbiting Neptune detects an unusual signal. Lieutenant Doyen and Specialist Hana decode what appears to be an automated distress beacon in an unknown alien language. The message repeats coordinates to a system 47 light-years away. Key plot points. Admiral Ji-hoon of the United Earth Fleet receives the decoded message. The signal contains biometric data suggesting the dying species breathes oxygen and has similar biological markers to humans, Earth's governing council debates. Whether to respond, the signal is old, traveling for 200+ years, and could be a trap, Dr. Yuna, a xenobiologist, argues that any species sophisticated enough to send an interstellar SOS deserves a response. Against the Council's split decision, Admiral Ji-hoon authorizes the deployment of the UES Horizon, humanity's fastest warship captain. Wu is given command with a crew of 400, including combat specialist Taeyang and engineer Sora. Revelations. The signal wasn't sent to anyone specific. It was a blind cry for help into the void. Humanity is the first to answer because they're the only species who actually monitors deep space for distress signals. Most galactic civilizations ignore such primitive forms of communication. Part 2. The Dead Colony. The journey. The UES Horizon makes the jump to the coordinates. A journey that takes 3 weeks at maximum FTL capability. Discovery. The crew arrives at a devastated colony world of the Velrim, a peaceful, herbivorous species known in galactic records as master architects and artists. The planet's surface is scorched. Orbital debris suggests a massive battle occurred centuries ago. Key plot points. Away teams led by Taeyang discover underground bunkers with preserved Velrim bodies and extensive archives. Dr. Yuna accesses their data cores. The Velrim were attacked by the Karathi Empire, a militant species that enslaves lesser races. The Velrim sent SOS signals to every known civilization in the region. 17 different species received their call, none of them came. All ignored the plea. Captain Wu finds a single survivor in cryo-sleep. Velrim elder historian Theln, who has been in stasis for 187 years. When revived, Theln is shocked that anyone responded. Even more shocked that it's humanity, a species, not in their historical records. Theln reveals the Karathi strip-mined the planet and enslaved the survivors, taking them to work camps on the moon. Dravis 3 character development. Hana struggles with the horror of galactic indifference. Wu must decide whether to return with their findings or attempt a rescue. The crew unanimously votes to investigate Dravis 3, knowing it may start an interstellar incident. Tension. Long-range sensors detect Karathi patrol ships in the system. Part 3. The Liberation Setup. The UES Horizon approaches Dravis 3 stealthily. Scans reveal thousands of life signs in underground mining facilities. Not just Velrim, but 4 other species, all enslaved for generations. Key plot points. Taeyang leads a strike team into the facility while Sora hacks into the Karathi security systems. They discover the slaves are microchipped with explosive collars. Any escape attempt triggers mass execution. The Velrim slaves don't believe rescue is real. They've prayed for salvation for 2 centuries. Engineer Sora develops a jamming field to disable the collars, but it requires the team to get deep into the facility's core. The mission goes sideways when a Karathi overseer discovers the infiltration and triggers a facility-wide alarm. A brutal firefight ensues. Humanity's military tactics shock the Karathi, who've never faced opponents who use coordinated squad-based combat. Doyen, piloting a dropship, provides devastating air support that decimates Karathi reinforcements. Captain Wu broadcasts an open message to the Karathi fleet commander. Release the prisoners, or we'll free them ourselves. The battle. 3 Karathi warships engage the Horizon. Humanity's ship is outnumbered, but utilizes unconventional warfare, electronic warfare, missile swarms, and point defense systems the Karathi have never encountered. The horizon cripples. 2 warships and forces the third to retreat. Taiyang's team successfully disables all slave collars. 6,247 slaves from 5 species are evacuated to the horizon aftermath. The crew realizes they've just declared war on the Karathi Empire Thelen, and the other freed slaves cannot comprehend why humans would risk so much for strangers. Wu's simple response: because you asked for help. Part 4. The Galaxy's Judgment. Return to Earth. The horizon returns to Sol system with thousands of refugees. Earth's government is in chaos. They're unprepared for war with an empire. Galactic reaction. News of the incident spreads. The Galactic community's response is swift and condemning. Key plot points. The Galactic Concordat, the ruling body of 23 civilized species, summons Earth to answer for their unprovoked aggression. Admiral Ji-hoon and Dr. Yuna travel to the Concordat station to represent humanity. The Karathi demand reparations and the return of their property. The Concordat reveals the harsh truth. Most member species practice or tolerate slavery. The Velrim SOS was ignored. Because intervening would disrupt economic stability, Ji-hoon is told humanity violated Protocol 7. Do not interfere with established systems. Dr. Yuna presents the recovered Velrim archives, showing 17 species received the SOS and ignored it. She delivers a damning speech. You didn't answer because you didn't care. We answered because that's what decent beings do. The vote. The IPAF, Concordat votes on sanctions against humanity, isolate Earth, cut off all trade, and allow the Karathi to respond appropriately to the horizon's actions. Humanity's response. Earth refuses to back down. Admiral Ji-hoon declares that humanity will continue to answer distress calls, with or without galactic approval. A line is drawn. Any species that cries for help will find humanity's answer. Unexpected. Turn. Minor species and oppressed colonies across the galaxy begin broadcasting their own SOS signals, all directed at Earth. Taiyang is promoted and tasked with forming humanity's first rapid response fleet. The freed slaves refuse to leave Earth. Volunteering to help build humanity's defense infrastructure climax setup, the Karathi assemble a war fleet to punish the humans and reclaim their property. Part 5. The answer that changed everything. The Siege of Sol. 20 Karathi warships arrive at the edge of Earth's solar system, broadcasting their intention to destroy the human homeworld as an example. Key plot points. Captain Wu commands the defense fleet of 12 Earth ships, hopelessly outnumbered. The Karathi admiral offers one chance: surrender, return the slaves, and submit to Karathi rule. Admiral Ji-hoon's response is broadcast across every frequency in the galaxy. No. Come and try. The battle begins. Humanity fights with desperation and ingenuity. Sora's engineering teams deploy experimental weapons, kinetic harpoons, EMP mines, and self-replicating nanoswarms. Doyen leads fighter squadrons using kamikaze, drone tactics that horrify the Karathi. The humans are losing. 8 Earth ships destroyed, but they've taken down 6 Karathi vessels. Just as the Karathi move to deliver the final blow, something unprecedented happens. The galaxy stops. Hundreds of ships drop out of FTL around Sol, not military vessels but civilian ships from dozens of minor species, the Velrim, using ancient colony ships. The Merrick bringing supply vessels. The Holthan, flying mining barges retrofitted with weapons. Theln broadcasts from the lead Velrim ship. 200 years ago we called for help. Only one species answered. Today we answer them. A ragtag armada of rescued slaves, minor species, and oppressed colonies has come to Earth's defense. The Concordat watches in real time as the insignificant species they ignored unite around humanity. Even 3 Concordat member species break rank, sending their own fleets to support Earth resolution. The Karathi fleet is overwhelmed and destroyed. The Concordat is forced to acknowledge a new power dynamic. Humanity has become the rallying point for every species seeking protection. Doctor, Yuna addresses the Concordat. You had centuries to be the galaxy's protectors. You chose profits and politics, so we'll do it instead. Earth establishes the Free Species Alliance, a mutual defense pact for any civilization willing to stand against tyranny. The Concordat fractures. Member species split between old guard powers and those sympathetic to humanity's ideals. Epilogue. 5 years later, humanity's SOS response network covers a quarter of the galaxy Captain Wu commands. A fleet of 200 ships, half-human, half-allied species. Taeyang trains the first generation of multi-species special forces. Hana oversees the Galactic Distress Monitoring System, ensuring no call for help goes unanswered. The Karathi Empire has collapsed under internal rebellion supported by human tactics and logistics. Admiral Ji-hoon reflects. They thought we were weak because we cared. They learned that caring is the strongest thing a species can do. Final scene. A new SOS signal is detected from the far side of the galaxy. The crew of the Horizon, now a symbolic vessel crewed by humans and former slaves, immediately plots a course. When asked why they don't wait for authorization, Wu simply says, "Because someone needs help. That's all the authorization we need." The galaxy watches and learns. Themes. Compassion as strength, not weakness. The moral imperative to help those in need. How one action can inspire systemic change. The cryo-sleep chamber hummed quietly in the darkness. Dr. Yuna checked the readings 3 times to make sure she was not making a mistake. The chamber held 1 Velrim, and he was still alive after almost 200 years. Can we wake him up safely? Captain Wu asked. Yuna bit her lip. I think so. The chamber is working perfectly. It was built to last, but I don't know how he will react. He went to sleep during a war. He might be scared. We have to try, Wu decided. He deserves to know someone finally came. They prepared the medical bay on the horizon. Then, carefully, Sora and her team moved the cryo chamber to the ship. Yuna spent 6 hours studying the Velrim biology before she felt ready to begin the wake-up process. The whole crew gathered outside the medical bay. They watched through the window as the chamber slowly opened. White fog poured out. Inside, the Velrim began to move. He was tall, maybe 7 feet, with gray-blue skin and 4 thin arms. His eyes opened, large and golden. For a moment, he just lay there, breathing. Then he saw Dr. Yuna standing next to him. The Velrim tried to speak, but his voice was weak. Yuna held up her hands peacefully. "We are friends," she said slowly. The translation computer repeated her words in the Velrim language. "We received your distress signal. We came to help." The Velrim stared at her. Then he started to cry. Tears ran down his face as he sat up slowly. "You came," he whispered. Someone finally came. His name was Thelon. He had been an important historian for his people. When the Karathi attacked, the Velrim leaders chose a few people to go into cryo-sleep, hoping someone would find them someday. "I never thought anyone would answer," Thelon said. He sat in the ship's conference room, wrapped in a blanket. His body was still weak. "We sent signals to every species we knew. We begged for help. But no one came. No one even sent a message back. Why?" Hana asked. She could not understand it. Why would people ignore a distress call? Thelon looked at her with his sad golden eyes. "Because we had nothing to offer them. We were not rich. We had no powerful weapons. We were just artists and builders. The galaxy does not care about people like us." Captain Wu felt anger burning in his chest. "The galaxy is wrong then. Who are you?" Thelon asked. "I do not recognize your species from any of our records. We are humans from Earth," Yuna explained. "Our planet is far from here. We are new to space travel. Most species think we are not important. But you came," Thelon said softly. "Why?" "Because you asked for help," Wu replied simply. "That is enough." Thelon was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke again, and his voice was different. "The Karathi took the survivors. My people who did not die in the attack were made into slaves. They were taken to the moon Dravis 3 to work in the mines." Everyone in the room went still. "How long ago?" Taeyang asked. "When I went into cryo-sleep, they were taking the last ships full of prisoners. That was 187 years ago. They might still be there." Doyen said. The Karathi might still be using them as slaves. Wu stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the dead Velreem planet turned slowly. He thought about his crew, about his orders. Admiral Ji-hoon had told him to investigate the signal and return home. He was not supposed to start a war, but there were people in chains on that moon, people who had been slaves for almost 200 years, people who had called for help and been ignored by everyone. Taeyang, check our weapons, Wu said finally. Sora, make sure the engines are ready. We are going to Dravis 3. Captain, one of his officers said carefully, if we attack the Karathi, that is an act of war. Earth might not support us. I know, Wu replied. Take a vote. Everyone who wants to go home, raise your hand. Not a single person raised their hand. Then we go forward, Wu said. The moon Dravis 3 was 3 days away. During the journey, Thelen told them everything he knew about the Karathi. They were a strong species that believed might made right. They conquered weaker species and used them as slaves. The galaxy allowed it because the Karathi were powerful and bought many goods from other species. They will not expect you to attack, Thelen warned. Most species talk and negotiate. They do not fight for slaves. We are not most species, Taeyang said grimly. He was preparing his soldiers for combat. When they reached Dravis 3, they found 3 Karathi warships orbiting the moon. The ships were big, maybe twice the size of the horizon. Can we fight them? Wu asked. Maybe, Taeyang said, but not all at once. We need to be smart. Sora had an idea. I can hack into their communication network. Make them think one of their ships needs help on the other side of the moon. That would split them up. It worked. 2 of the Karathi ships flew away to investigate the false emergency. That left only 1 ship guarding the moon. Now, Wu ordered. The horizon attacked fast and hard. The Karathi ship never had a chance to raise its shields. Human missiles hit it from 6 different directions at once. The Karathi ship was damaged but not destroyed. It tried to run. Don't let it escape, Wu said. If it warns the others, we are finished. Taeyang took control of the weapons himself. He fired the main cannon 3 times. The 3rd shot hit the Karathi ship's engine. It exploded in a ball of fire. Get us down to the surface, Wu ordered. Fast before the other ships come back. 3 dropships launched from the horizon. Taeyang led 50 soldiers down to the mining facility. The building was huge, carved into the side of a mountain. Smoke came from tall chimneys. They landed at the main entrance. Karathi guards came running out, surprised by the attack. They were big creatures, 8 feet tall with thick armor-like skin. They carried energy weapons, but they had never fought humans before. They did not know about squad tactics or covering fire. Taeyang's soldiers moved like water, always supporting each other. The Karathi guards fell one by one. Inside the facility, they found the horror. Thousands of aliens worked in the hot tunnels digging for minerals. Not just Velreem, but other species too. All of them wore metal collars around their necks. Those collars, Sora said, scanning them. They are bombs. If a slave tries to escape, the collar explodes. One of the Velreem slaves saw Thelen. The slave dropped his tools and fell to his knees, sobbing. He spoke in the Velreem language. A ghost. I see a ghost from the old days. I am not a ghost, Thelen said gently. And you are not alone anymore. These humans came to free us. The Velreem slave looked at the human soldiers. No one comes for us. No one cares about slaves. We care, Taeyang said. Now stay calm. We are going to get those collars off. But then alarm screamed throughout the facility. A Karathi overseer had seen the attack and triggered an alert. Doors slammed shut. More Karathi soldiers came running. Sora, we need those collars disabled now. Taeyang shouted into his radio. I am working on it. Sora was deep in the facility's computer core, her fingers flying over alien keyboards. The collars are all connected to one central computer. If I can shut it down. A Karathi soldier found her. He raised his weapon. Doyen, who had come down with the second wave, shot the soldier first. Sora, hurry. Got it. Sora pressed one final button. All throughout the facility, thousands of collars beeped once and fell off. The slaves stood frozen for a moment. Then they realized they were free. Some cried. Some screamed with joy. Some just fell down too weak to stand. Get them to the dropships, Taeyang ordered. Everyone moves now. The 2 remaining Karathi warships had figured out the trick. They were coming back fast. Captain Wu watched them approach on his screens. Doyen, get those dropships back here now. We need to leave. They are overloaded, Captain, Doyen replied. Too many freed slaves. The ships are flying slow. Then we buy them time, Wu decided. Helm, put us between those Karathi ships and our dropships. The horizon was one ship facing two warships. The Karathi fired first. Energy blast hit the horizon shields, making the whole ship shake. Return fire, Wu ordered calmly. The battle was fierce. The horizon was faster and smarter, but the Karathi had more weapons. One Karathi ship took heavy damage and pulled back, but the other kept attacking, shields at 30%. An officer shouted, "Dropships are almost here." Toyan reported, "Hold together," Wu told his crew. "Just a little longer." The last dropship docked. "All personnel aboard." Taeyang confirmed, "Get us out of here," Wu ordered. "Maximum speed." The horizon jumped to faster than light speed. The Karathi ships were left behind, damaged and angry. In the cargo holds and corridors, 6,000 freed slaves huddled together, unable to believe they were finally safe. Theln found Captain Wu on the bridge. "Thank you," the old Velrim said. "For 200 years we waited. You are the first ones to care." "We are just getting started," Wu replied. But he knew the truth. They had just started a war. The journey back to Earth took 4 weeks. The horizon was overcrowded with freed slaves and supplies were running low. Dr. Yuna and her medical team worked day and night, treating injuries and malnutrition. Many of the slaves had been working in the mines for their entire lives. They had never seen the sky. Hana spent her days helping the Velrim. She brought them food and water and she sat with them when they cried. One young Velrim girl, barely 20 years old, touched Hana's face with wonder. "Your skin is so different," the girl said. "Smooth and warm. Are all humans like this?" "Yes," Hana replied gently. "We are different from you, but we are friends." "Why did you save us?" "We are nothing to you." Hana thought about that question. "You are not nothing. You are people who needed help. That makes you important," the girl cried and held Hana's hand. "My mother told me stories about the old days before the Karathi came. She said someone would save us someday. I thought they were just stories." "They were not stories," Hana said. "We are here." On the bridge, Captain Wu was receiving messages from Earth. None of them were good. The Karathi Empire had sent an official complaint to the Galactic Concordat, the ruling body of 23 species. They accused humanity of theft, murder, and piracy. "Earth's government is angry with us," Doyen reported, reading the latest message. "They say we should not have attacked the Karathi. We might have started a war." "We freed slaves," Taeyang said angrily. "How is that wrong?" "Politics is not about right and wrong," Wu said tiredly. "It is about power and money. The Karathi are powerful. Earth is afraid." When the horizon finally reached Earth, they found a military escort waiting for them. Admiral Jihoon's face appeared on the screen. He looked old and worried. "Captain Wu, you have caused a galaxy-wide incident. The Concordat has demanded that Earth representatives appear before them to answer for your actions." "Will you defend what we did?" Wu asked. Jihoon was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled slightly. "I will. But I do not know if it will matter. Dock your ship. We will take care of the refugees. Then you and I have work to do." Earth welcomed the freed slaves with mixed feelings. Many humans were happy to help. They gave the aliens food, shelter, and medical care. But others were scared. They worried that the Karathi would attack Earth in revenge. The news channels talked about nothing else. Some reporters called Captain Wu a hero. Others called him reckless and dangerous. Dr. Yuna went on television to explain what they had found. "These people were slaves for almost 200 years, she said firmly to the cameras. They called for help, and 17 different species ignored them. Only humans answered. Are we supposed to apologize for having compassion? But not everyone agreed with her. 3 weeks after the horizon returned, Admiral Jihoon and Dr. Yuna traveled to the Concordat station. The station was huge, bigger than any human city. It orbited a neutral star between territories. Representatives from 23 species lived and worked there. The Concordat chamber was a massive round room. Each species had a platform with seats for their representatives. At the center was a speaking platform. Jihoon and Yuna walked to that platform while thousands of alien eyes watched them. The Concordat leader was a Trelkin, a species that looked like giant insects. His voice echoed through the chamber. "The Galactic Concordat recognizes the humans of Earth. You have been summoned to answer for crimes against the Karathi Empire." 3 Karathi representatives stood on their platform. They were huge and intimidating, with dark scales and sharp teeth. The lead Karathi spoke with a deep, angry voice. The humans attacked our ships without warning. They murdered our soldiers. They stole our property, 6,000 slaves that we legally own. We demand they return our property and pay for the ships they destroyed. If they refuse, we will take revenge. The chamber filled with murmurs and discussions. Ji-hoon stepped forward. We do not recognize your claim to own other beings, he said clearly. Slavery is wrong. Those people you call property are living, thinking beings. They deserved freedom. A representative from the Mektar species laughed. How naive. Young species always talk about morality. In the real galaxy, we must be practical. The Karathi have practiced slavery for thousands of years. It is their culture. Some cultures are wrong, Dr. Yuna said sharply. The chamber went quiet. No one spoke to the Concordat members like that. The Trelkin leader spoke again. You claim moral superiority, humans, but let me show you something. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed the original distress signal from the Vel Rim. This signal was sent to 17 species. All of them received it. Do you know why they did not answer? Because they are cowards, Ji-hoon said. No, the Trelkin replied. Because of Protocol 7, the Concordat has rules. We do not interfere with established systems. The Karathi had already conquered the Vel Rim. To intervene would have caused war and disrupted trade. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That is just an excuse, Yuna said. You let people suffer because helping them would be inconvenient. That is not wisdom. That is cruelty. An older species representative, a Holton, spoke up. The human speaks emotionally, but she does not understand reality. In the galaxy, there are winners and losers. The strong rule. The weak serve. This has always been the way. Then the way is wrong, Ji-hoon said loudly. His voice carried through the entire chamber. You asked why we answered the distress signal when no one else did? Because we actually listened. Because we believe that beings crying for help deserve an answer. Not because it profits us. Not because it is easy. But because it is right, right? The Karathi representative laughed. There is no right in the galaxy. There is only power, and you humans have just made enemies of the Karathi Empire. We will teach you what happens to species who interfere with our business. The Concordat took a vote. The question was simple. Should Earth be punished for attacking the Karathi? 20 species voted yes. Only 3 voted no. The Trelkin leader announced the decision. The Galactic Concordat has decided. Earth will be isolated. No trade with Concordat species. No access to Concordat space. And we will allow the Karathi to respond to your aggression as they see fit. You have chosen to stand outside our laws. Now you will face the consequences. Ji-hoon and Yuna were escorted out of the chamber. As they walked, Yuna noticed something. Several alien representatives watched them with strange expressions. They did not look angry. They looked hopeful. A small alien, a Merrick with 6 arms, quickly walked up to them in the hallway. He looked around nervously, then whispered, What you did was brave. Some of us remember when we were weak. The Concordat protects the strong and abandons the weak. Maybe it is time for a change. Then he hurried away before anyone could see him talking to the humans. On the journey back to Earth, Ji-hoon sat quietly, thinking. Yuna sat next to him. We are alone now, she said. The whole galaxy has turned against us. Not the whole galaxy, Ji-hoon replied. Just the powerful ones. The weak species, the ones the Concordat ignores. They watched what we did. They are watching to see what happens next. When they reached Earth, they found something surprising. Messages were pouring in from all over the galaxy. Not from Concordat species, but from small colonies, minor species, and oppressed groups. All of the messages said the same thing. We need help. Please come. Captain Wu met with Admiral Ji-hoon in his office. What do we do now? Wu asked. We cannot answer all of these calls. We do not have enough ships. Then we build more ships, Ji-hoon said. And we train more crews. The Concordat wants us to be quiet and obedient. Instead, we will become what the galaxy needs, protectors of those who cannot protect themselves. The Karathi will attack us, Taeyang warned. He had come to the meeting too. They have a huge fleet. We barely survived against 3 of their ships. I know, Ji-hoon said. That is why we need to prepare. Captain Wu, I am promoting you to fleet commander. You will build our rapid response fleet. Taeyang, you will train new soldiers. Dr. Yuna, you will work with the freed slaves. Learn from them. They know the galaxy better than we do. What about me? Hana asked. Ji-hoon smiled at her. You, Specialist Hana, will run our distress signal monitoring network. From now on, every cry for help will be heard, and we will answer. The freed slaves refused to leave Earth. Thelen and the others wanted to help build humanity's defense. The Velrim were master builders. They began designing new ships and weapons. Other freed species offered their skills too. You saved us, Thelen told Ji-hoon. Now let us help save others. 6 months passed. Earth built 30 new ships with help from the freed slaves. Thousands of humans volunteered to join the fleet. They trained day and night. Then one day, Hana detected a massive energy signature approaching Earth's solar system. "Admiral," she said, her voice shaking, 20 Karathi warships just entered our space. They are broadcasting a message. The message played across every screen on Earth. The Karathi fleet commander spoke in a cold, hard voice. "Humans of Earth, you stole from us. You killed our people. Now we will destroy your world as an example to the rest of the galaxy. Surrender now or die." Admiral Ji-hoon looked at the threat. Then he looked at his people, humans and freed slaves working together. He smiled. "Broadcast my response on every channel in the galaxy," he ordered. "I want everyone to hear this." The 20 Karathi warships moved through space like predators hunting prey. Each ship was massive, carrying hundreds of weapons. They had destroyed entire civilizations before. Earth would be no different, or so they thought. Admiral Ji-hoon stood in the command center deep below Earth's surface. Screens showed him everything. The approaching enemy, the defense fleet, the millions of people watching from the planet below. He looked calm, but his hands were shaking slightly. "How long until they reach firing range?" he asked. 2 hours, Doyun replied. He was coordinating all the defense systems. "Our fleet is ready. 12 ships against their 20. Not good odds," Taeyang muttered. He was preparing to lead fighter squadrons in the battle. "We have faced bad odds before," Captain Wu said. He would command the defense fleet from the UES horizon. "We will face them again." Dr. Yuna was working with Thelen and other Velrim engineers. They had been building new weapons for months, things the Karathi had never seen before. "Our surprises are ready," she reported. "I hope they work." "They will work," Thelen said confidently. "The Karathi think they are superior. That will be their weakness." Sora was on the horizon with Wu. She had filled the ship with experimental technology. "Captain, if even half of my inventions work, this will be interesting." "Interesting is one word for it," Wu said dryly. On Earth's surface, Hana sat at her monitoring station. She was not in the battle fleet, but she had an important job. She would coordinate communications and watch for any more threats. Next to her screen was a small plant, a gift from the young Velrim girl she had befriended. The girl was safe in a bunker now, along with the other freed slaves. The Karathi fleet stopped just outside weapon range. Their commander sent one final message. "This is your last chance, humans. Surrender now. Return our slaves. Pay for our losses. If you agree, we will only destroy your military. If you refuse, we will burn your planet." Ji-hoon's response was simple. "Come and try." The Karathi fleet opened fire. Hundreds of energy blasts and missiles flew toward Earth's defense fleet. The battle had begun. The 12 Earth ships scattered immediately. They did not try to block all the attacks. Instead, they moved in patterns the Karathi did not expect. "They are using swarm tactics," the Karathi commander said with surprise. "Clever, but it will not matter." 4 Karathi ships focused on the horizon. They thought if they destroyed the flagship, the humans would lose courage. They fired everything they had, but the horizon did not try to dodge. It flew straight toward them. At the last second, Sora activated her new invention. A massive electromagnetic pulse burst from the ship. The Karathi weapons shut down, their missiles falling harmlessly into space. "Now," Wu ordered. The horizon fired back, but not with energy weapons. Sora had built something different, kinetic harpoons. Heavy metal spears shot at incredible speed. They punched through the Karathi shields like paper. One harpoon hit a Karathi ship's engine. The ship exploded. The Karathi were shocked. In thousands of battles, their shields had never failed like this. Meanwhile, Taeyang led his fighter squadrons in a different attack. The fighters were small and fast. They carried no pilots. They were drones controlled by AI. Hundreds of them swarmed around the Karathi ships like angry bees. "What are those things?" a Karathi officer shouted. The drones exploded, but they were not trying to damage the ships. Each explosion released millions of tiny nanobots. The nanobots attached to the Karathi ships and started eating through their armor. "Our hull is dissolving," one Karathi captain reported in panic. "What is this?" Sora had called them nanoswarms. They were designed to break down metal at the molecular level. Within minutes, 2 more Karathi ships were disabled, their hulls full of holes. But the Karathi adapted quickly. They began using plasma fire to burn away the nanobots, and they still had 17 ships against Earth's 12. They are learning, Wu said. Time for the next surprise. 3 Earth ships flew close together, almost touching. Then they activated a shared shield, a single massive energy field that protected all 3 ships as one unit. The Karathi fired at them with full force. The shield held, barely. Redirecting all power to weapons, one of the Earth captains said calmly. Behind the shield, the 3 ships charged their weapons. When they fired together, the combined blast destroyed another Karathi ship completely. The Karathi commander was furious. How are these primitives doing this? They should not have such technology. What he did not know was that the Velrim had shared their knowledge. The freed slaves had given humanity hundreds of years of advanced science. Earth's engineers had taken that knowledge and created something new, weapons that combined human creativity with alien technology. But the battle was still going badly for Earth. 2 human ships were destroyed. Another was badly damaged and had to retreat. The Karathi had lost 5 ships, but they still outnumbered the humans. We are losing, Doyen reported to Ji-hoon. His voice was tight with stress. I know, Ji-hoon replied. He watched the battle on his screens, feeling helpless. There was nothing more he could do. The fleet was fighting as hard as it could. In the battle, Captain Wu knew they could not win by force. They needed another way. Sora, do you still have those EMP mines? He asked. Yes, but we only have 6. Not enough to stop this many ships. We do not need to stop them all. Just their flagship. Wu studied the Karathi formation. Their commander was in the biggest ship, hanging back while others fought. If we take out their commander, maybe the others will hesitate. It was risky. They would have to fly through the entire Karathi fleet to reach the flagship. Many would die. All ships, this is Wu, form up on the horizon. We are going through them. The remaining Earth ships gathered together. Then they charged straight at the Karathi fleet. It was insane. It was suicide. The Karathi thought the humans had gone mad. But as they flew forward, the Earth ships released clouds of debris, pieces of destroyed ships, old satellites, anything metal. The clouds interfered with Karathi targeting systems. Missiles hit the wrong targets. Energy blasts missed. The Earth fleet punched through the Karathi formation. They lost 2 more ships in the attempt. But the Horizon made it through, with 3 other ships following. The Karathi flagship tried to run. But Sora released all 6 EMP mines. They attached to the flagship's engines and detonated. The massive ship went dark, floating helplessly in space. Finish it, Wu ordered. The 4 remaining Earth ships fired everything they had. The Karathi flagship exploded in a ball of fire and metal. Without their commander, the remaining Karathi ships hesitated. They had never been in a battle without orders. Some wanted to retreat. Others wanted revenge. They argued among themselves. In that moment of confusion, reinforcements arrived. But not human reinforcements. Hundreds of ships dropped out of faster-than-light speed around the battlefield. They were not military ships. They were civilian vessels, cargo ships, transports, mining barges. They came from dozens of different species. Leading them was Thelon, piloting an ancient Velrim colony ship. Attention, Karathi fleet, Thelon broadcast. 200 years ago, my people called for help. No one answered. Today, when humans called, we answer. You will not destroy Earth. The ragtag fleet surrounded the remaining Karathi ships. They were not strong warships, but there were so many of them, and they were all willing to fight. A Merrick transport captain broadcast his own message. The Merrick people were conquered by the Karathi 80 years ago. We remember. Today we stand with the humans who care about slaves. A Holthan mining barge moved forward. The Holthan were nobody in the Concordat. The humans treated us with respect. We will defend them. More voices joined in. Species that had been ignored, oppressed, or enslaved. They had all watched humanity answer the old distress call. They had seen Earth stand up to the Concordat. And now they were here. The Karathi ships were surrounded. They were damaged and outnumbered. Their commander was dead. This is impossible, a Karathi captain whispered. The weak species never fight. They never unite, but they were fighting. And they were united. Not by force. Not by profit. but by something the Karathi had never understood: hope. The remaining Karathi ships retreated, limping away in defeat. On Earth, people cheered. They had won. Barely, but they had won. Hana cried at her station, overwhelmed with relief. Doyen hugged her. We did it. We actually did it. In the command center, Admiral Jihoon sat down heavily. He looked 10 years older. Get me a count of our losses. The numbers came in. 4 Earth ships destroyed. Almost 1,000 human soldiers dead. But Earth had survived. More importantly, something had changed in the galaxy. The freed slaves had come to help. Minor species had stood up. The Concordat had watched it all happen, shocked and uncertain. Captain Wu broadcast a message to all the ships that had come to help. Thank you, all of you. You did not have to come. You chose to stand with us, Thelen replied, his voice full of emotion. You answered our call when no one else would. We will always answer yours. Over the next few days, news of the battle spread across the galaxy. The Concordat held emergency meetings. Some species were angry that the minor species had acted without permission. Others were scared of what this meant. But the oppressed species across the galaxy were inspired. If Earth could stand up to the Karathi. 5 years had passed since the Battle of Earth. The galaxy was a very different place now. Captain Wu stood on the bridge of the horizon, looking out at a fleet of 200 ships. Half were human vessels. The other half belonged to allied species, Velrim, Marek, Hulton, and dozens of others. They flew together under one banner, the Free Species Alliance. Fleet status report, Wu said. All ships ready, Captain, replied his first officer. It was Hana. She had trained as a command officer over the past 5 years and was now second in command of the Horizon. We can jump to faster than light speed on your order, Wu smiled. Hana had come a long way from the nervous specialist who first discovered the Velrim distress signal. They all had. Doyen was now an admiral, commanding his own battle group. Taiyang had trained thousands of soldiers from different species, teaching them to fight together. Sora had become the Alliance's chief engineer, constantly inventing new technology. Dr. Yuna was the Alliance's lead diplomat, traveling between species and building bridges. And Admiral Jihoon had become something the galaxy never expected, a leader not just of Earth, but of hope itself. The Free Species Alliance had changed everything. When the Karathi tried to attack Alliance members, they faced unified military response. When species were enslaved, the Alliance came to free them. When colonies called for help, someone always answered. The old Concordat was falling apart. 3 of their member species had left to join the Alliance. Others were arguing among themselves. Some wanted to negotiate with the Alliance. Others wanted to crush it. But they could not agree on anything. The Karathi Empire had fallen completely. After losing at Earth, rebellions broke out across their territory. Slaves rose up, supported by Alliance weapons and training. Within 3 years, the mighty Karathi were reduced to a few scattered colonies, their power broken. Thelen had returned to the rebuilt Velrim homeworld. He was old now, his body finally showing the strain of 200 years in cryosleep. But he was happy. His people were free and growing strong again. I lived to see my people saved, he told Wu during his last visit to Earth. I never thought it would happen. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for teaching us, Wu had replied. You showed us we were not alone in wanting a better galaxy. Now 5 years later, the Horizon and its fleet were responding to another distress call. A species called the Bentari had been attacked by raiders. They were calling for help. Jump in 3, 2, 1, Hana counted down. The fleet dropped out of faster-than-light speed near the Bentari homeworld. They found the raiders immediately, a group of pirates trying to steal the planet's resources. The raiders took one look at the Alliance fleet and ran. They knew better than to fight now. The Alliance had a reputation across the galaxy. You did not attack people under their protection. The Bentari were saved without a single shot fired. Send down aid teams. Wu ordered. Medical supplies, food, engineers to help rebuild. The standard package. This happened several times a week now. The Alliance answered distress calls from all over the galaxy. Sometimes they had to fight. Often just showing up was enough. Their reputation preceded them. But not everyone was happy about the changes. At the Concordat station, the remaining member species held another emergency meeting. The Trelkin leader looked older and more tired than 5 years ago. The Alliance is becoming too powerful, a representative argued. They are disrupting the entire galactic order. Trade routes are changing. Traditional power structures are collapsing. This cannot continue. What do you suggest? The Trelkin asked. We already tried to isolate Earth. That failed. The Karathi tried to destroy them. That failed too. The Alliance is winning because they offer something we do not. Protection without demands for profit. Then we must offer something better, said a Mektar representative. We need to reform the Concordat. Show the galaxy we can change. It was too late for that. Trust once broken was hard to rebuild. Meanwhile, on Earth, Hana sat in the monitoring center that was now the size of a small city. Thousands of people worked here, listening to the galaxy. Every distress signal was heard. Every call for help was recorded and answered. A new signal came in. Hana read it and immediately sent it to Admiral Jihoon. Admiral, we have a situation. Multiple Concordat species are reporting internal rebellions. Oppressed populations are rising up, demanding freedom and asking to join the Alliance. Jihoon arrived at the monitoring center within minutes. Dr. Yuna was with him. They looked at the reports together. The Concordat is collapsing, Yuna said quietly. The example we set is spreading. People everywhere are refusing to accept oppression anymore. That is good, is it not? Hana asked. Yes and no, Jihoon replied. Change is good. But rapid collapse can lead to chaos. We need to help manage this transition or thousands could die in civil wars. Over the next year, the Alliance worked harder than ever. They mediated between governments and rebel groups. They provided humanitarian aid to war-torn regions. They helped new democracies form and protected them from those who wanted to restore the old order. It was exhausting work. But it was necessary. Taeyang found himself training not warriors but peacekeepers. I trained to fight, he told Wu one day. Now I spend my time stopping fights before they start. Is that not better? Wu asked. Taeyang thought about it. Yes, it is. 3 years after the Concordat began collapsing, a new organization formed, the Galactic Union. It was everything the Concordat was, not democratic, transparent, focused on protecting the weak instead of empowering the strong. The Free Species. Alliance merged with the Union. Humanity did not try to control it. Instead, every species had an equal vote. Earth was just one voice among hundreds. Admiral Jihoon retired at age 70. He was tired but satisfied. At his retirement ceremony, representatives from 200 species came to honor him. You changed the galaxy, Theln said. The old Velrim was dying now, his body finally giving out. But he had lived long enough to see the new union established. My people waited 200 years for someone to care. You were that someone. We were just the first, Jihoon replied. But others would have come eventually. I do not think so, Theln said gently. Most species thought only of themselves. Humans thought of others. That made all the difference. Theln died 3 days later, surrounded by his people. He was buried with full honors on the Velrim homeworld. Captain Wu attended the funeral. Standing at Theln's grave, Wu thought about everything that had happened. One distress signal had changed the course of galactic history. One decision to help had sparked a revolution. Do you think we did the right thing? Hana asked him quietly. She stood next to him at the grave. Yes, Wu said without hesitation. We did exactly the right thing. 10 years after the original distress signal, Captain Wu was now Admiral Wu, but he still commanded the horizon. Some traditions were too important to change. He stood on the bridge with his crew. Hana was still his first officer. Doyen commanded the entire monitoring network. Sora had invented faster-than-light communication, allowing instant messaging across the galaxy. Taeyang led the Union peacekeeping forces. Dr. Yuna was now the Union's High Counselor, voted in by all member species. She was the first human to hold the position. Admiral, we are receiving a new distress signal, a young officer reported. It is coming from the far side of the galaxy. How far? Wu asked. Very far. It would take 3 months to get there, even at maximum speed. What does the signal say? It is from a species we have never encountered. They call themselves the Karani. They are being invaded and need help. They are asking if anyone can hear them. Wu looked at his crew. They were ready. They were always ready. Set course for the Karani system, he ordered. Maximum speed. Should we wait for authorization from the Union Council? The young officer asked. Wu smiled. Authorization? Someone needs help. That is all the authorization we need. The horizon jumped to faster than light speed. Behind it, 50 other Alliance ships followed. They were going to answer the call. In the Union Council chamber, Dr. Yuna received word that the Horizon had departed without official approval. She was supposed to be upset. She was supposed to call them back and follow proper procedures. Instead, she smiled. That is exactly what I would have done. The other counselors looked at her in confusion. Do you not understand? Yuna said. This is what makes us different. We do not help people because bureaucracy tells us to. We help people because they need help. That is what the Union stands for. That is what we should always stand for. The Council voted to officially support the Horizon's mission. The vote was unanimous. In space, the Horizon raced toward the distressed Karani. Wu stood on his bridge thinking about that day 10 years ago when they first heard the Velrim signal. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if we had not answered that first call? Hana asked. Sometimes, Wu admitted. But we did answer. And that changed everything. Do you think it will always be like this? Helping people? I hope so, Wu said. As long as someone is calling for help, we will answer. That is who we are now. That is who we will always be. The Horizon flew through the stars, heading toward people who needed them. Behind them, the entire galaxy had changed. The old system of the strong dominating the weak was dying.